No.
Okay. Okay, this is working.
Yeah.
Bong bong. Okay, come on, computer. Come on. Yeah. Okay, let's go live right now. Okay, so we are supposedly live. I guess we'll find out in a momento if we are. I'm seeing it a little jittery on my end, but that's okay.
Yeah, you're totally frozen.
I'm completely frozen
You're completely frozen.
right now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Damn. Do I look good frozen though? Or is it like a really ugly face? Like I was making like the worst possible.
You're in live action. Like you're about to talk and your mouth's open and your eyes are kind of looking a little upward and you look like you're ready to say like something important.
I think that the children's children and our children's children, something like that.
Something like that.
That's what I was.
How about what if I like get off this Zoom and then, or if you maybe close your camera and restart your camera?
Oh yeah, hold on.
Let's see.
Okay, you're back.
I'm back. I don't see you. I just see a Franklin Armstrong logo.
Yeah, Franklin Armstrong logo. Hold on. I'm trying to tag you and it's not letting me.
Oh my God, nothing is working. For the love of God.
This is the new era. Deal with it. This is the new normal. Okay, hold on. Let me try this again. Hopefully you get a good camera because I have like 3 cameras plugged into this thing and I feel like it's just going to give us the worst camera now.
Here, I just like cleaned my screen. I have 1 camera. And it spies on me when my like computer is off.
Oh, really?
I'm sure it does.
Am I still frozen?
Let's see.
But now I'm like doing poses.
Yeah,
now I'm doing poses.
Yeah, honestly, it's still the Franklin Armstrong logo. Is your camera on?
Yeah. I can see myself back on it.
I can't see you at all.
Oh. But the people can see us. That's the most important part.
Yeah, as long as the people can see us, it's fine. I won't get to see your reaction or see you, but it's fine.
Hold on, I'm going.
This is how actors feel like when they're like acting in front of a green screen, you know?
I mean, you can go to. I would tell you to go to the Facebook one too, but the Facebook one is actually going to be delayed when you're talking to me, and that's what I feel will throw you off even more so. Oh, you know.
Yeah, I'm sending you exactly what I see here.
Hold on.
And
I know what it is.
It makes me feel. It feels like we're on Love Is Blind, where we're just talking through a screen.
Hold on, let me try this.
But there's no like.
Let me try this.
Here, I just sent it to you.
Oh, hold on. I'm clicking. Can you see? What's up, everybody? If you're tuned in, what's up, everybody? Sweet Nikki Facina tuned in. What's up, dude? If you guys are watching on the IG live right now, please make sure to switch over to facebook.com/Brian Holidae, HOLIDAE. And you'll be able to watch the insanity that is myself and Mariam Khan kind of shooting the shit as we live our best lives. Can you see me now? Because I switched cameras.
Honestly, I can't see you at all.
No? Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know what to do. But you can.
It's okay. We're strengthening our skills. Like we mentioned, that's what we're gonna do, right?
Yeah, this is. We're working through our difficult times to make.
This is like acting like in front of the green screen. I don't see the audience. Yeah, we're talking on top of each other. I don't see the audience. I don't see you. So it's like I gotta be.
It's great though because
this is horrible.
It's great because people can see you and can hear you, but you can't see or hear anyone. You could watch it on the Facebook, but it's going to be 20 seconds delayed. So if you want to see how we look,
I'm ready for the asteroid to come and hit us and just like take us all out. Like as humanity, we don't need this. We don't need this.
Yeah, this world that we're currently living in is easily one of the weirdest times that I can imagine for society. And I think a lot of people are finding it very confusing because they're just like, wait, what the f is happening? Like, I can't imagine being a teenager right now because when I was a teenager, it is. It's completely fucked. That like when I was
my God.
What were you saying?
Go for it.
No, it's always
no, go for it.
It's always ladies first. You know the rules.
Okay, well, listen. Questionable about calling me a lady, but sure. I was gonna ask you something deep.
Yeah, go ahead. Let's see. Am I
Do you
emotional?
think that movies, do you think the movies are like inspiring world events, or is this just happening? Like Contagion happens, there's all these like imagery of how our future is going to look like and all this dystopia movies and shows that are constantly being bombarded,
Yeah.
and now it's happening. Do you think we're getting inspired by it to like go that route, or do you think it's just like, yeah, these filmmakers, these writers, these producers are just ahead of the curve? The movies are like inspiring world events.
Bong. Sorry, I forgot to mute us and it was looping back. But yeah, I also tagged you if you want to share it. Yeah, I mean, you know, when I was in school, I had a professor. We did risk communications with my professor, Robert Danish, amazing professor in university. And one of the things he talked about was how if you, and it's funny enough because he said it, and in my head I was just like, oh, that sounds true. And then I was talking to my mom about it once, and my mom was just like, yeah, I feel like that's like speaking truth to reality. Like as a, like people of color always think about that. Like if you keep speaking it, it will happen. And in that class, we talked about like, you know, someone who constantly believes they're sick will eventually get sick. So what he was saying was like a planet that constantly thinks the worst thing is going to happen, the worst thing is going to happen. And I think that, yeah, that's a very interesting point. Maybe we did bring this on ourselves by constantly making movies and talking about pandemics and viruses. But I think also,
there's wet markets, right? There's also wet markets. Yes, that's what I was thinking too.
Wet markets?
The Chinese wet markets. Like that's what started this all.
Oh yeah, because what was it? What happened exactly? They were saying that it's
well, they said that it's contaminated from a bat, and in China there are these wet markets that are like really, really close to each other. So it'll be like live, like a live animal with like a dead animal, and like because of that, there's a lot of cross bacteria
and contamination
that can carry the virus. And then one of them like was bitten by a bat, and
but
like
wait,
someone.
Is that a factual thing, or is that because people watched the movie Contagion and decided that that is? Because I heard
that's what's being told to us. That like in for reals, that's what's being told to us. Like that is the reason. But like really, who knows? Who really knows? These wet markets have existed for years. Like it's not like it's this new thing.
Yeah, I don't know if I can think it's the markets as much as it is just that we've been knowing for a while that we were going to have a virus hit us in a way that was going to be very dangerous. Like that's been known. And I don't think anyone was preparing for it. I think we were all just kind of just like, oh my God, the worst thing possible is about to happen. I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but there was that whole thing about Bill Gates talking about the most dangerous threat to society is a virus and not war or it's a virus that will wipe out humanity because we are not prepared. That's my Bill Gates. I have no clue what Bill Gates sound like, so that's my impression of Bill.
I mean, yeah.
I mean, Bill
kind
Gates...
of like Kermit the Frog, I guess. Sure.
I think he's a nice guy. I don't want to jump to the conclusion that he's...
Yeah, I think he's nice, but I mean, he warned us, but you know, we're still in this. We're still in this.
And that's the thing. Can you think, like, do you think Bill Gates warning people years ago about a viral pandemic sounded logical when you're like, oh, this guy's the computer guy. What does he know about viruses? Like, I like, okay, if someone asked me, like, yeah, if I'm in a car and I'm telling somebody, yo, this car's going to break down because of this, and I'm not a mechanic, would you think I know what the I'm talking about? Like, why would you think...
Well, if you had $1 billion, I would.
Yeah, true.
You're the world's richest man. I think you know something that we peasants don't.
Yeah, that's fair. That is a very, very fucking fair point.
I'd be like, what secrets do you know? Like, what meetings have you joined? And what you know in there? But this is the thing. Like, he and all these other billionaires that have pledged to give like 90% of their income after they die. Like, we need your money now.
Yeah.
Like,
stop hoarding the cash.
Like, he's there. I just saw an interview with him on CNN, but it's like, what are you giving? What are you doing? Like, you're just like, yeah, I was right there. This is like the virus, and like it's gonna get worse. And like, yeah, that's great knowledge, but we kind of need, you know, we're also heading towards like a complete global
economic shutdown.
Shutdown.
Yo, dude.
World War III is coming out. Like I was walking. I'm telling you, I was walking.
You're giving like you're gonna give the worst anxiety and panic to people.
I'm telling you, I was walking on San and I saw this market, and it was like all glass windows, and all I was thinking, like, when shit hits the fan, someone's gonna take a rock, like just run into there, like the looting's gonna begin. Oh yeah, I'm expecting it.
You're already there. You're
it's gonna get bad. I've been like I was the one in my group of friends freaking out like 4 weeks ago, trying to get people to prepare. No one was taking me seriously. And now, like, I had a panic attack like 4 weeks ago. Now I'm just like, yeah, this is what we were. I'm expecting this, and I'm expecting worse. I'm like, yeah, it's gonna get worse. It's just gonna get worse.
I was telling people, you know, like I've said this a few times on this. A couple weeks ago, I was talking to my partner, and she told me, she was just like, "Oh, hey, there's some weird virus coming out of China," and her and I looked at each other like, "Oh, okay," and then that was it, right? And then you just started to hear like more and more, and then it hit Italy, and then I started telling like people like, "Hey guys, you need to start preparing," like, and then like. The day that the self-isolation stuff started happening and these doctors started warning people that you have to like you're gonna have to bulk buy stuff in preparation for long stays at home, and people were just like, well, it doesn't make sense, blah blah blah, and I was trying to explain to people like, no guys, she's right, you need to start bulk buying like things that you're going to keep at home so that you don't have to go out as often. And people were like looking at me like I was crazy when I was talking about it. I remember being on the bus and people like glancing over at me and like rolling their eyes as if I was insane to say like people should prepare for a long multiple month stay at home in preparation for this. I know you don't like the idea of staying home from
Well, you know what's the sickest part? It's like you don't want to be right in times like this, but it's still so satisfying to be right. Like, I didn't want to be, but like, I knew.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, so I work in like the events industry. So like my company that I work for, we do tech for events. Okay. And the reason why, like, for me, I knew it was going to get really bad was because about 4 weeks ago, everyone was canceling their events. Like, and people are doing it for profit. People have been investing a lot of money. So people are not going to just cancel an event just because of like a virus coming out of China and we don't know what it is. Like it literally was like my whole company just like shut down. Like we had a bunch of events we were about to do and everything was getting canceled. And we also do like the NBA and the NHL games. And when the NBA was being like announced that it was just gonna have its games with no audience, that's when I started having a panic attack. And then the NBA ended up being canceled. Yeah. And then I had to put in my mind. I was like, you know what? The season's canceled. I was like, the season's canceled. I even had in my mind, I'm like, the Olympics will be canceled. Like I knew it. I called it. I'm like, everything's gonna be canceled. And everyone thought I was nuts.
Yeah, I feel like when the NBA the NBA and Tom Hanks was the moment that I think a lot of people started to take it seriously. Like they were just like, "Oh, Tom Hanks is sick? What?" And then I think that the NBA, especially Rudy being like, "I'm not afraid," and then touching everything, and then people getting sick, and then multiple people in the NBA getting sick. Yeah, I could see why people were upset about that. I would be upset about that because it's just like, hey, dude, people are trying to warn you that there's like a serious situation happening, and it seems like you're taking it as a joke, and that I know. Yeah, that kind of stuff. Know.
Yeah, that's when it was. That's when people like. Even then, I remember my mom works at school, and I was like yelling at her. I was like, "You can't go. You don't understand. You have a 70-year-old husband." Yeah, and yeah, I mean, she was still in school until like they canceled.
Is she a teacher?
I'm still ready for the military. Like 4 weeks ago, I was ready for the military to have to come out to stop this because as North Americans love our freedom. So like, we're not gonna just listen and be obedient like Asian countries will be. But I'm starting to think people are taking it seriously enough where maybe that won't happen in Montreal at least.
Yeah, I think.
But in the States,
I was gonna say. I think Canada. Like, I don't think we have to worry about it as much in Canada. I think people are generally taking it seriously. And like I think we as a country understand how severe it's getting, and we're definitely trying to limit it as much as possible. And then you see America, and America is just like, you have Evangeline Lilly, the actress, who's out there talking about how like, oh, my freedom is more important, and people are just like, no, what are you talking about? Like,
build a wall. We as Canadians need to build that wall.
Yo, for real.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm ready. I support that.
Yeah.
Listen, we can't ruin what we got going on here.
Yeah. I like, someone was saying like, do you think our economy could survive if we cut like ties, or if we start to like stop trade with the United States? And I was thinking like, I don't think our economy would do well, but I think the death toll on our country, if we keep letting the Americans, who don't seem to be taking it as seriously, and are actively still flying around the country with there's like no system set up to check people when they're landing at airports and stuff. At least this is what I heard as recent as a couple days ago. If it's changed in most states, I would hope so. I know New York, people are loving Andrew Cuomo in New York, because they say he's genuinely trying to get this done. And he's also one of the only people who's being very public and very open about what's happening. He's just like, trying to get respirators and the things we need to survive shouldn't be a bidding war between the different states. That's a very dangerous precedence to set. And I agree.
Yeah, sorry, go for it.
No, and I think it's scary when, someone in New York who's helping run New York is talking about how, like, and New York is considered like one of the, capitalist, capitals. I was like, what's the other word? Capitalist capitals of the world. And someone there is saying like, I shouldn't have to outbid for things to keep people alive. And I was just like, yo, that's wild that he's saying that. Like, he gets it. He understands. And I would hope that other people start paying attention to that stuff. I hope.
Yeah, I mean, not only that, like, if New York goes down, like, America is going down. Like, New York, LA, like, these are the hubs of, like,
culture and stuff.
Like, the country's economy. But not only that, like, a lot of the states that don't care because New York's, like, a liberal state, it's gonna come to them, too. Like, they're just ahead of the curve. Obviously, they're very densely populated, and they're like all living on top of each other, which is obviously like next level.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's still, the minute you start getting a little bit of spread, like it, like, what is it? What did they say the stats was? Like, it grows, like the
2.5 people per person
is double every 4 days. So once you get, like, if there's a state right now that has like 100, okay, 4 days it's going to be 200, then 400.
But that's the thing. I've been trying to explain to people, because a lot of people have been freaking out when they see the numbers jumping now, and I've been trying to explain to people in a common, logical way, like, don't get freaked out by the number. The number is going to get bigger. We know that. The number, because this thing has an incubation period of 14 days, right? So if people were sick and didn't know and were interacting with everyone on a regular basis like they normally do, they've already connected with other people, and those people potentially could also have it, because now they're starting to realize the transmission of this airborne quote-unquote virus isn't as easy as they initially thought. One of the bigger factors is more that when you get it, the virus is actively trying to spread itself. It's attacking the lungs and causing you to cough, and then it's when you cough that you project it, and that it can catch other people. If everyone had started wearing masks, like they, like, did you hear about Taiwan? Taiwan just had everyone wearing masks, and dude, bars were still open, restaurants were still open, schools were still open. They just had everyone wearing masks and doing temperature checks. This
is what I'm talking. Okay, so the whole thing about, like, no, you only need to wear a mask if you're infected, I thought, like, I was like, that's just a huge conspiracy to keep as many masks available as possible. But, like, even if you're not affected, you should be wearing a mask, right?
No, actually, right now, you don't have to. Two things I'll explain about that. As someone who worked in the hospital and as someone who has a lot of... What?
I said, oops.
Yeah, so one of the things about wearing the mask is, and I will tell this to people, and this is actually very important, if you are wearing a mask and you are not infected, you actually do not need to wear a mask, one, because it depends on the type of mask you're wearing, and two, a lot of people don't know how to put on the mask and don't practice the proper procedures once they have a mask on. For example, once you put the mask on your face, you are not allowed to touch it at all. Again, you're only allowed to adjust it with the elastics. You can't take the mask off. You can't touch your face again. It defeats the whole purpose of the mask. So when people are like, who don't know how to wear these masks, put on the mask and then are constantly touching the mask, you've already tainted the mask. It defeats the purpose of the bacteria, like trying to keep the bacteria out. Because if anything's on your hand and you're putting it on this thing that is pressed against your face, you could still, like, the filter can't filter something. Yeah, you really can't touch. And that's what they're trying to explain to people. Like, if you're gonna wear the mask, you have to put the mask on and just leave it on. But also, on top of that, you only really need the mask if you yourself are sick. If you're not sick, one of the things that they've been realizing about COVID is COVID is the type, the way the virus is it's not, someone used the word heavy. It's a heavy virus, right? So like, if you're breathing, it's not like it projects out. It's a natural breath. It falls straight. It's when you cough and project it that it starts to spread out, and it causes coughing. So then it causes people to spread it. And that's, I mean, again, this is one of those things where a virus is intelligent. Like, you can't tell me viruses aren't smart. If a virus has figured out coughing is how I can make myself spread, and then all of a sudden the first thing you notice when you have this virus is that you cough, this virus is smart. Don't tell me it's not. Like, why? Like, oh, it's a viral chest. You can't tell me that this virus hasn't evolved to be strong enough that this is the first symptom that you get where it continuously spreads.
Oh, wow. I never even looked at it like that.
Yeah.
That freaks me out.
Yeah, but I'm not
going to help with my anxiety.
But I'm not saying the virus is like a person who sits down and writes notes. Yeah, but like the virus itself is a virus, and the best way for it to spread is through a cough. And the first thing it attacks is the lungs, and people start coughing. That's just chance? No, it's natural evolution of this virus. It knows, like, the virus is parasitic. It connects with the human body, and this is how it's affecting us, and this is how it's spreading. And I don't say that to freak you out, but I mean, that's just that's one of the things, that might be my conspiracy theory, but that's what I'm noticing. It just seems weird to me that this virus figured out all of a sudden.
I'm just like, what if I get a regular flu? Like, what? I'm going to freak out.
I know, they've been saying that about people. They're just like, how do people know?
Get a regular flu, you know? Yeah. Like, I was starting to feel a little sick, but I knew why. It's because I worked out, because I never work out. So like, the one day, my system is so bad. Like, my immune system is so bad that, like, even the workout, it's just too much energy I'm exerting.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was starting to feel a little down the next day. Like, I had the chills. I was like, just feeling like my body, like my temperature was really warm. But like, I knew it was because of that. I knew it, like, it wasn't the corona. And I just drank a lot of water. I got some sleep and I was fine. But, still makes you think, like, what's happening?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I mean, I think a lot of people are very concerned, and that's normal, this situation, because we don't, like you said, we don't know what this is. We've never dealt with this before, so it makes perfect sense that people are uncomfortable with what's happening. But I also think, like, communications and listening to what's happening in the community around you is equally important. And if we, like I've said it a few times on these shows that I've done, if we work together, we'll be able to get through this stuff in a better way. Whereas, like, hoarding stuff,
in Singapore, they apparently have lots of cases, but everyone's still out. Like, I think I knew of someone who's in Singapore, and like their mom was like begging them to come back to Canada. And he was just like, why would I do that when I'm safer in Singapore than have to take a plane and then go to Canada? Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So, but they had this, they had SARS, they had like H1N1. They know how to deal with like all these diseases. Like, they just know, just kick China out. No, I'm kidding.
Well, no, my buddy's in China right now, and he was just talking about it. He was in quarantine for the 6 weeks, and he was, or almost 2 months. Because he was in quarantine since January, and he's only getting out of quarantine, like, he got out of quarantine at the beginning of this month, maybe, or like middle of this month. And he was explaining, he's just like, it's hard. You feel like you don't have much choice, but you also realize that if everyone follows this, the virus can't spread. It literally can't go anywhere. Like I was saying, if the virus has figured out that causing people to cough is how it can connect to other people, if there's no one around the person who's coughing, then it can't do anything. And then you just have to clean surfaces and you're fine. It also doesn't last very long. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
Like at the virus, you know, I don't know if you've seen.
But then, like, the problem is, like, the people that were infected, like, does it just go dormant and does it, like, reactivate? That's what's scary.
Oh, interesting. That I can't say. I'm not medical in that way. Like, I don't know if the virus will like come along and then.
What do you mean you're not medical in that way?
Well, it's just I know I know how to like.
I agreed to do this podcast.
A lot of people I know about how to put on a mask, but I couldn't tell you like if the virus comes into your body and once you beat the virus.
That's the thing. Nobody knows. That's what makes it scary. Like,
I mean, yeah, they haven't been dealing with it long enough to. But I think, from what I understand, people who have been recovering from it, that they don't. First of all, if they've recovered from it, their body has most likely built up an immunity to it or has adjusted to it. So I would say,
but really, like 4% of Chinese COVID positive cases that recovered, like 4% of them retested positive again.
And did they have the symptoms again?
That I don't know.
Because that's the thing.
I don't know the sources. Like, maybe it's fake news, but like, that's what I read.
Yeah, that's one thing. I will say this: if people, because it's a virus, right? Bacteria and viruses are different. So I understand that viruses are a lot stronger and they're not as easy to get rid of. And I would imagine that if a virus is in your system, even if you've beaten it, you're right, the virus might still be. It's like chickenpox almost in that sense, right? Like virus.
It's like herpes, you know, the first time the flare up is terrible. And then after that, like you'll get some flare ups, but it'll be manageable. But just like this flare up, but it's just like with this flare up, grandma dies. That's the difference. Like that. This is what this is.
Grandma dies. Wow, that's an amazing line. That's a pretty good line.
I mean,
I know. Man. Speaking of herpes, no, I'm joking.
I will say the internet has gotten significantly funnier.
Oh yeah,
like the memes out there are killing it. I don't know who these unsung heroes are writing up and just posting up these memes, and they're just going viral. They're spreading faster than COVID. But like they are hilarious.
They have to. I mean, people need an outlet to like relax and laugh and be funny, man. Because right now people are freaking out. Like I can't imagine just being at home, especially like meme culture was already blowing up huge, right? Like everyone I know constantly sends memes to each other. I'm in multiple group chats. We all just send memes to each other. And then this comes along where you're at home and all you can do is stay on your phone or play game. Like you could go out and be one of those active people who's running and jogging, but guess what? You're not supposed to be outside in the first place. So then you're like, oh, well, I guess I'll just stay home. And you don't have a treadmill.
You know why memes are that much funnier? Is because comedy and what makes things funny has to be relatable. Yeah. And everyone can relate to COVID right now.
Facts. Big facts.
Like everyone's part of this inside joke.
Yeah.
Like,
oh, okay. I had to ask you because one of my friends asked me this and I think I should pass the question on. Do you think, because you mentioned it before we were on air, do you think Tiger King would be as popular a series if everyone was able to just go out? Like, is it a popular series because we are all in quarantine?
Oh no. This guy transcends. This guy is huge because his character is wild, and you haven't seen it. So
no,
you know, like you, like it's hard for me to have this conversation. But this guy, like the thing is, I got to be honest. Like when I was watching it, I was like, oh my god, this is so wild. But like, I've seen other documentaries where I was more hooked on. Yeah. But like I still watched it within like 3-4 days.
Do you consider this an actual documentary? I know it's shot like a documentary, but people are telling me like it doesn't feel like a documentary.
Well, because the thing is, what was happening was like there was already this like one film guy who was documenting his life in real time. And in real time, things were happening.
Oh, okay.
So it was like one of those things. But this guy is like a huge, like he wants to be a celebrity. Like he has, like he's totally a narcissist. Like he wants to be famous, you know. But the problem is when you just want to be famous, like it goes into infamous territory, and with infamous territories, like you still think it's a good thing, and that's when you gotta like check on the person's mental health.
But that's it. So you've watched the show. Is it the type of show that?
Of course.
And you're telling me, as someone who's in quarantine and is staying home, and the best use of my time, is this genuinely something you'd recommend I watch?
I definitely okay. Like, what are you scared of with this Tiger King?
It's not scared. It doesn't sound appealing.
There seems to be a very strong resistance.
But the resistance is only because I don't genuinely find these types of documentaries entertaining. Like,
but what else could you compare this to?
Well, because to me it comes across as like
you're like these types. Like, what other types?
To me, this seems more like a mockumentary than a documentary. I can't take it serious. When I see pictures of Joe Exotic, it looks like someone is making a joke. Like, this looks like a full-on gag.
But that's what makes it amazing, because he took himself so seriously. But like, that's why he got to where he was.
Oh my God, it's so wild.
Yeah. No, it's because it's also, you know what it is. The mockumentary comes at watching this guy lacking any self-awareness. And that's why everyone else at the outside is laughing, because it's so silly and ridiculous. But sometimes, and that's what I found, like when I was doing stand-up and when I watched people that just lacked any self-awareness, but they were so confident in this like really ignorant way, but they would move up, they would do well. It's because sometimes it's like their greatest strength.
Yeah, just to be oblivious to everything.
That completely unaware, because you can walk in any situation super confident and like, no, you're not traditionally successful, but like you're successful. Like if you're that unabashing, like if you're that unaware, like you're not going to be afraid to put yourself out there, and someone's going to pay for that.
God damn.
So listen, like for him, I mean, things ended up turning out really bad, but at one point, like it gets to a point, like when you're that unaware, like at a certain point, like it can be really successful, but then if you keep going at it and get yourself in trouble and you're just lack awareness, then that's when shit hits the fan.
Is one of them in prison?
Yeah.
Oh yeah? Okay. So there were repercussions to this whole thing.
You just gotta watch it.
You're trying to pull me in.
Listen, you're free to do what you want,
As someone who watches so much content, I'm like, I
know, I'm surprised that you wouldn't be up on Joe Exotic. But I feel like Joe Exotic's not your type either.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, this guy does not look like an interesting character. Like, if someone wrote this show if this was a scripted show and this was just them acting out some wild story that was written by somebody, Joe Exotic is not a character I would find entertaining. And I think that's a problem, because I can't take it seriously when I look at the show and I look at clips and people are just like...
I think you would probably get frustrated watching Joe Exotic.
Oh my God,
like, because people watch it, it's true. Because you did mention a good point about the mockumentary. People do laugh at him.
Oh my God,
so that's like his whole character, his whole demeanor, like, yeah, there's a lot to look at and laugh at, And like, for sure, this guy is high off his like ass, like there is no doubt about that.
Yeah.
And like, look, that's why I think a lot of people, like, it's funny, but at the same time, it's wild. It's just like, yeah, for sure there was moments that were hilarious, but you're like, no, this guy is dead serious, and this is wild.
Oh my God.
Like, he's doing meth and he's like going in cages with tigers, Like,
does he get mauled? That like nothing crazy happens to him? He's just
no, like at one point, like it's just weird. It's like just so crazy to watch someone so comfortable with like tigers around and like they're just rolling around together. It's so crazy. Because I once pet a tiger. Like, I remember going to Thailand. This is like maybe back in 2012, before it was everyone taking selfies with tigers, and then like me really realizing like, wow, they're really abused.
Oh.
But I went to Thailand. This was like almost 10 years ago. And I was with a group of like girlfriends. We were like 4. And each one of us, when we went to Thailand, we all had like our one thing we had to do. So for me, it was like we needed to go to a tiger temple.
Oh,
and I remember going in and I pet the tiger and I had my hand like at the back of a tiger And like
Oh
I
my
wasn't
God.
confident. You know, you got to be really confident, or if the tiger senses fear, like it'll growl at you.
Oh.
But this tiger, it like wagged its tail on me. I freaked out, and the tail was so like strong.
Yeah.
Like the tail was so strong that like I kind of freaked out. So like I still whatever. I ended up taking my picture, and then I had it on Facebook for a while, and then I felt ridiculous years later. Like I was, you know, having a tramp stamp, like you don't want to admit you did that.
I like that.
At the time, I thought it was cool.
My picture with the tiger felt like a tramp stamp. That is fucking.
I had a picture. That's what this title of this like of this episode should be. I had a picture with a tiger. You know,
oh
like
my God.
I took a picture, and you know I got the shots. It was all about getting the shots at the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, my heart was like racing, because when you're there live, you're like, this tiger can turn around, and if it just wants to like bite my head off, it will do that.
Jesus.
I'm done. Like, yeah, totally. But that's why they drug them up. But
yeah, but
I mean,
there's like there's handlers, right?
Yeah, of course there's handlers,
okay.
But I mean, at the end of the day, like,
yeah, like what? How much is a handler gonna do?
He's like, hit that tiger went tiger. Like, did he ever say that line? Who was it that said that line? Anyways, but
you're definitely asking the wrong person, because again, I did not watch the show. I don't think I can make it. I don't.
But I remember like Chris Rock. This is like another. My mind's going somewhere else.
Oh, okay, stand up. Yeah.
I remember him saying one line. I don't know who it was about, but he's like, that tiger went tiger. Anyway, that's funny.
Okay, sweetie, I can't stay much longer. It's like I said, these are usually only half-hour shows that I do. Actually, usually in 20 minutes. We're already at 32 minutes. But Geektastic Cyphers on tomorrow, so I want to remind people to check that out. We're still making episodes during this wild time, which has been insane. It's been... It's such a weird process I mean, even this, it took us so long to get us online, because we were supposed to start this at 7, and I apologize to anyone who's watching this, and all the people on my IG who've been waving and saying what's up. I apologize that this took a minute, but you know, this has been crazy. This has been a process with all this technology. I've never done audio visual stuff. I've usually just done mainly audio stuff. You know, even when we were having Toby on the show through the Google Hangouts, it was simple because we would just have Toby's little window, and then when it stopped working, we just kept Toby via the audio and kept the rest of us on the screen. But now here we are, and the audio-visual thing is definitely where everyone is expected to go in the next little bit. Like you were saying earlier, Zoom is probably making bank, and it's going to... Oh, this is something I wanted to talk about. One last thing. You were saying Zoom is going to kill the airline industry.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
I love that in your head, your hair looks weird, but it looks great.
My hair looks so weird. I don't know what's going on. Anyways, so Zoom, basically, not to like brag, but this was actually back in January. I took like a boot camp class for like at McGill for like whatever, the company I work for in this event technology.
Yeah. And
they were talking about different industries. And one of the strategy professors actually said that, you know, like when you have your business, you got to think like the most wildest things that can happen that can ruin your industry. And he's like, I consulted a lot in the airline industry. And it was funny, just side note, he asked us, he's like, what do you think is the wildest thing that can happen that can kill your industry? And we said an apocalypse, and we laughed, but now it's happening.
Oh, no.
Anyway, side note. So that's why he was saying like you should create other business lines that will diversify all of that. But he talked about
Wu-Tang tell us that diversify your bonds and nigga like
so he talked about how he consulted with airline companies, and he said majority of flights are taken by business people rather than people just like touring, doing random tours.
Yeah.
So he said and at the time Zoom was still pretty popular. This was just in January. And he said, you know, with all the online conferences, like someone's eventually going to come up with the technology to start doing like virtual and barely live like type of meetings.
Yeah.
And he was talking about like just the digital camera, and he compared it to in the 80s. At first, it was really grainy and ugly, but eventually the technology adopted. And that's what he was talking about, just virtual technology.
Yeah.
But he wasn't even talking about Zoom at the time. And he said all the airlines laughed at him. And now that that's happening, everyone's now being But now everyone is pushing even harder, and everyone has the time,
Yeah.
most importantly, and the resources to go for it 100% rather than slowly incrementally going for virtual like live meetings. People are pushing full force. So
Yeah.
eventually when that happens, now what's going to happen, first of all, people are going to be afraid to travel.
Yes.
And now companies are going to feel the pressure, and like they're going to feel the liability if their employees get sick on the road.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's going to happen. And like the airlines could be done. Like, yeah, for traveling, for leisure, sure, but like business travels are gonna go way down.
Yeah, if I had a business right now, I would not be looking at ever sending. If I could do conferences via cam, I know that there's some cultures where doing business it's a handshake, but I think we all understand now handshakes are
that's gonna change.
Yeah,
that's done.
Yeah, handshakes in Montreal, the bees on each cheek, all that stuff culturally, all that stuff's going to have to change. People are going to be skittish to be in public places, let alone traveling to other countries to be doing business deals and shaking hands. If you could, guys, everything about technology right now has made it easy for us to communicate. You can transfer thousands of dollars just through, logging into your bank account and just transferring to somebody. Why do I need to go somewhere and shake your hand to do this? And you don't. That's the thing, right? We know you don't have to do that anymore. And this
people don't even want to like pay by cash anymore. You go to go to Pharma Pre and pay by cash. They're gonna freak out if you pull out your cash.
Yeah. It's changed. Technology has made it that we don't need to do that stuff. And I know some people freak out. They're just like, but they're tracking everything. Well, guys, they were tracking us anyways. If you have a phone in your hand, you're being tracked. If you're posting everything you do, you're being tracked. Every time you post about every activity that you do because you want to be social and connect with people on social media, those things are going into databases, and there's a huge archive of all the things you've ever done.
But what's scary about that is before they've had that, but they didn't know what to do with the data, and now it's going to be scary to see what they're going to do with that data.
Oh,
and
advertising.
Secondly, yeah, the world's changed. This is the Thanos Snap. Like, this is it.
And instead of like killing people, because it's killing like 4%, but instead of killing people, it's killing industries, and that's
killing industries. But like, look, we're going to end up getting better stuff. Like, people are going to come out winning, like big time out of this. So that's the thing. Like, old ways die. And those ways, you have to look at it like this. They were on the route to die anyways.
Yeah.
It's just now it died quicker.
Yeah.
You know, like grandma was going to die, but now it's like.
Oh, grandma.
I know, it's terrible. I honestly don't even want to feel like joking about it. It's sickening. And like, we all have parents. So like.
Yeah, this has been one of the hardest things for me has been just avoiding my family.
I know.
Like, have you been able to go see your family?
So I went to go see my parents. Okay, so I didn't see my parents for like 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
And then on Sunday, so 2 days ago, I went to go see my parents, but we were like social distancing. And then believe it or not, I got a flat tire.
Oh, no.
So then I had to stay there for hours. And then my dad called one of his friends that works at a like at a mechanic shop, and like he came and helped, and like all during the corona. It was terrible, but like I don't think I'm gonna see them for the next little while. But I think I'm in Utrecht also. Like, these areas are really, like Côte-Neige, all these areas are so bad.
Yeah.
I think
182 cases in Côte-Neige. I would like to point out, though, in Côte-Neige, for anyone who's listening, just consider the fact that the Jewish General Hospital is in Côte-Neige, and they were sending people to that area to get tested. And I don't doubt for a second that there were some people who were sick but like, you know what? Some people don't have money to and have cars, and if you're telling people to get there, how do you think they got there? They took public transit. They took like.
So sad.
Yeah, there's people who had like. If you're telling everyone go to the Jewish General, and the Jewish General is near a metro, near a bus, you told people to get there somehow to this hospital to be tested, but this hospital is on bus routes, so people probably took buses. So when you're seeing bigger numbers jump up in communities, it's like communal transfers. Well, I mean, makes sense. They're all on the bus and using public transit together.
Yeah.
That's what I think.
So it's definitely, it's definitely sad. And that's it. Like, hopefully in the next like 2-3 weeks, we can we're going to hit our peak, and then hopefully the curve will start flattening out, and then it'll probably take another month to like really make sure.
So prediction
numbers going down.
What's your prediction? When are we going? When are we going back?
Man.
I already know my prediction.
I'm going to say July.
Oh, damn. Okay, you're going later than me. I was going to say June.
I was originally going to say June.
Yeah.
But I'm saying July.
Hot damn.
Goddamn.
Hot takes, people. Guys, that's the whole show. I've had Mariam, thank you so much. This was so much fun.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man.
Of course. This was so much fun. I look forward to talking to you again soon. And once this is all over, hopefully you can come through to we'll social distance. The table is huge, so we'll put the extra pieces in and we'll sit far away from each other. But yeah.
I know, but then you gotta disinfect those microphones.
Oh, dude, we got the medical grade wipes. We ordered the last batch on Amazon, like one last batch before things went to hell. And I've been like, anything that comes into our house has been wiped down with the medical grade wipes. Anything. Everything. Yeah. Packages, everything. And then we put it down, we let it dry, and then we put them away. Because you kind of have to, man. Yeah, I don't know what's out there. I don't trust you people. I'm sorry.
Yo, people are definitely going to be way cleaner than before. So
God, yes. That is a big plus. Okay, well, that's pretty much it. Miriam, thank you so much. It was so much fun talking with you. Guys, just a quick reminder to anyone who is checking us out right now. If you guys are out there, if you guys have not voted, Cult MTL is still doing their Best of Montreal. You can make sure to vote at cultmtl.com/vote-best-of-MTL. And we're asking you guys to consider voting for Geektastic Cypher as Best Podcast in Category 24. You have until the 11:59 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on April 12th. It's one entry per person per IP address. The ballots have to have a minimum of 25 categories filled in to be counted. So if you guys are looking for categories, you can also check out A. Strong Franklin on Instagram, and we've posted to our story and to our Instagram account and to our IGTV a list of different people that were suggesting for different categories. So that's pretty much it. That's all. Mariam, once again, thank you so much. This was a blast.
Thank you.
I hope I get to talk to you soon.
Yes.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Guys, we're out. Take care.
I'm going to be here.
Everyone have a nice evening. Yeah, we're all going to be here. It's true. Guys, we'll be back tomorrow. Geektastic Cypher, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on franklinarmstrong.com and on Facebook. You can go to facebook.com/FranklinArmstrong, DOTCOM. We'll be there. Okay? Peace, everybody.
Bye.